Architectural plans have been devised for the first in a series of capital improvements throughout the library system. Today we're here at the East Washington branch with Capital Projects Manager Mike Coghlan to talk about plans for this historic Carnegie Library, as well as update you on a few of the other projects on the drawing boards. Mike, thanks for joining us. And this is a beautiful facility, but old, built in around 1910. Where do we stand with the renovation and expansion of this East Washington branch?
Well, John, it's great to be here and a chance to share with you where we are. We have been working with the architect, Harry Moeller, who's an architect out of Lafayette, Indiana. The branch manager, Doreen Smither, she's done a great job. And we've had 3 community engagement meetings to talk about what the library can do for our patrons and how physically we can accommodate them inside this building. Mm-hmm. The big idea is to make an expansion to accommodate increased collections, computer lab, as well as updating the restrooms and to provide an elevator that would provide access to both this level and the level below. So we're moving right along with it. We're going to go to the library board in 2 months with the finished design and ask for their authorization to go ahead and issue bidding documents.
Now, just to clarify the expansion, that's going to be a northward expansion of about 2,200 square feet, correct?
That is correct. One of the guidelines that we're following is to respect the historic nature of this building. It's a valuable member of the community.
Sure is.
It's held in high regard, and we heard it very loudly and clearly from both the library board and the community during that engagement forums. So the expansion will be behind the building, where you won't be able to see it from Washington Street. The idea with the expansion is that we still will use the main steps. They'll still be used as a way to get into the library and not have them just be a ceremonial step. So the elevator will come right to the same vestibule, and so we'll be able to accommodate access for people with strollers and book trucks, as well as people who have mobility issues, as well as people who are walking in.
But the key consideration, maintaining that historical integrity, including those book gnomes that sit atop the building.
Absolutely. And the building itself was built remarkably well. It is held up. It's in really good shape. It's been tuck pointed about 50 years ago.
Right.
And at this point, it has very little masonry issues. And the footings and the foundations are really right on. So the expansion is where we're going to be able to devote a lot of our energies to the back, to the expansion, as opposed to doing big infrastructure work here.
Okay. And when is construction scheduled to be concluded for this project?
The goal is to have it finished for the branch birthday, which is in November. So November of 2016 is the goal to have the project completed.
Okay.
So we're on track to get the project out to bid at the end of 2015 to have the project awarded to a contractor at the beginning of 2016. And then when the weather breaks around St. Patrick's Day, we'll be able to start digging a big hole in the back and start working on our expansion.
2 other projects are currently underway in terms of the public comment phase, one of which has been concluded. The Southport branch, and then the Warren branch is another project where at this time final plans are still in the making, but let's just touch briefly on Southport and what's happening at that location.
Right. It is the first project moving along as we've stepped the projects along. We have had the 3 engagement meetings with the community, and they were remarkably well attended. And we have received authorization from the board to issue the bidding documents. And the goal is to have the project awarded to a contractor in December of this year, so that right after the new year we can start the renovation work there.
And then what about the Warren branch?
It's following about 2 months behind that. That the goal is to award the project right after the new year, and then to begin the construction work right after the board approves the work.
But these 3 projects that we've discussed really just kick off a whole series of capital projects that include renovations, new branches, finding new locations for the new branches. So there's a lot of work to be done through, the year 2020?
Yeah, the last project will open in 2022. is when the last project, with this sequence, is the library board, in response to the strategic plan, worked to develop a sequence for implementing replacement facilities, new facilities, and renovations and expansions that are funded by bond money, but that are able to work within the existing tax rate that we currently have. So there will be no tax increase that as a part of these projects.
That's key to know.
That is key to know. And they worked very closely with the City County Council to make sure, because the council does have authorization, approving authority for that. So that was one of the things they did. It would have been in December of last year that was approved. And so we've been working for the past 10 months now to begin the implementation of it. So there are the 4 projects that we're working on right now. Well, 5 with the Eagle and Brightwood. And there are a total of 11 projects that we'll be working on between now and the end of 2022.
Very good. Mike Coghlan, Capital Projects Manager for the Indianapolis Public Library, as we embark on a whole series of improvements throughout the entire system. And you can follow the library's progress online at ndpl.org.